February 15th, 2023 edition of the Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series, brought to you by the National Urban League. I'm your host, Kenneth L. Johnson, president of the Harlem, New York-based diversity recruitment firm East Coast Executives. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. National Urban League Digital Career Success Series is a professional development series that helps members of our Urban League Young Professional chapters and other diverse job seekers explore the intersectionality of Blackness and professionalism while developing new skill sets that will enhance their careers. Through digital platforms such as webinars, LinkedIn, and Facebook Live, the DCS provides an opportunity for remote professional development right from one's computer. This is a LinkedIn Lab session today with the amazing Lorraine Cade Lee, virtual keynote speaker, course instructor, and consultant. Man, I'm really excited about this one right here. You know, Black History Month is time for us to build upon lessons of the past and create our future. This session with Lorraine will be grounded in LinkedIn's latest tools, current trends on the platform, and career management strategies to help you navigate this powerful career and professional development tool, LinkedIn. Lorraine, welcome to the Digital Career Success Series.
Hi, Ken. Hi, everyone. So excited to be here.
Man, we are thrilled to have you here. Listen, 300,000 plus followers on the LinkedIn platform. How are you doing this? What are you doing? What do we need to be doing to embrace LinkedIn and show up like you?
Yes, thank you for calling that out. It took a little bit of time, but I will say, as I used to work at LinkedIn as an editor, I'm a LinkedIn learning instructor now, love the company, love the platform, and really LinkedIn is your online presence. Think of it as your landing page. And when you can get the LinkedIn profile right, get your LinkedIn presence right, things fall into place, people follow you, you get known, you get more career opportunities, you get more visibility. And I'm just so excited to share my insights with everyone today.
You know, we're looking forward to you sharing. I want to, speaking of sharing, I think that might be a secret sauce for you, right? What I've noticed about you and your profile and your platform is that you're constantly sharing. You're sharing tips, you're sharing resources, knowledge on the platform, and it seems like people are receptive to that.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, even still, when they think about LinkedIn, they think of it as a job site or kind of your online version of your resume. And while LinkedIn definitely is a place to host all those things, and you should have all those things on there, there's this completely different aspect, other side to it, where it's very conversation driven, content driven. And so I mentioned before, I was an editor on the news team there. And so that's where I kind of got my start creating video series, posting articles, content. And I just continued that even after leaving LinkedIn. And content is really that key piece that kind of helps you stand out, that helps you meet new people, connect to new people, like you can, meeting you through a different LinkedIn Live show that I was on. And so I'm so passionate, and I'm always telling people, start posting content. Like, it's not just about looking for jobs. The two go hand in hand, right? Like, if you can show your thought leadership, you can show your expertise through content, more people, more recruiters, and people looking to hire are going to reach out to you.
Yeah, shout out to Orlando Hayes for kind of tying the dots and putting everything together and getting us together. Look, the chat is going crazy. People want to know more about what you're doing on LinkedIn and how you're leveraging strategies. So let me just back up a little. So for you, prior to coming on board at LinkedIn, when you were there, were you a power user already? Were you completely leveraging the platform?
Yeah, so I was a power user in terms of completing my profile and making sure I had all the details, all my past job experiences. I had the profile photo, I had the, I guess at the time it was called summary, now it's called about. I had the summary section filled out, I had recommendations. So I was definitely a power user, and I really loved the platform. But it wasn't until, content wasn't even a big piece before I joined LinkedIn. It was kind of building up as I joined as an editor. So once I joined, yes, the content piece definitely picked up a lot.
Sure. So do you find, all right, so if I'm just coming on the platform, because believe it or not, there are some people that still kind of are hesitant, especially in certain demographics where they say, listen, I'm not looking for a job. Maybe do I need to be on LinkedIn? I'm sure you've heard that. Then there are people that say, well, I'm there, but I don't have a photo there. I'm not sure I'm not sure I want to present in that way. What advice do you have for people that maybe are still a little reluctant and or hesitant to completely dive in?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And I think, it's I alluded to this before, but LinkedIn is your online landing page. It is the place where people go to first to learn about who you are. And especially, so many of us are remote or hybrid now. Um, when people we don't get to the luxury of meeting people in person. So when they want to learn more about you, they're going to search your name. LinkedIn is going to show up first if you have a LinkedIn. So you want to make sure it's as complete as possible. And to the people who are like a little hesitant maybe to have the profile picture or make their profile public, I like to just say this is your tool to market yourself. So make it public, add as few friction points as you can to ensure that if a recruiter visits your page, they get to learn everything that they want to about you. And they're not going to just see, oh, I only see a headline and I'm kind of curious, but now I have to send a connection request. Like just put it all out there. I know it might feel a little uncomfortable, but again, this is your chance to really show off who you are.
So there are some tools. Speaking of showing off who you are, right? So we have people that are engaged and here. They'll be attending the career fair. What happens when people should people embrace the hiring symbol or the looking for work symbols that show up on the photos now? I think it's relatively new, but I know some people have some questions about how they use them.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine to use them. I know some people feel like sometimes they think, oh, it's like desperate, like I'm putting the filter on and I don't want to advertise to everyone. But I mean, if you're looking for a job and right now it's a competitive job market, right? Like unfortunately, so many people are getting laid off. I think any kind of quick visual signal you can give to people that you are open to opportunities is a good thing because I mean, it is, you are open to opportunities. I think when you add that filter, I think it may also help you rank higher when recruiters search, for example, for people who are open to jobs. But if that makes you uncomfortable and you are a little bit more private, that's totally fine. There's settings on the back end that you can adjust to indicate that you are open to work, and you can kind of talk about, is it a remote job, a hybrid job, an in-person job, what locations, and all of that good stuff. So definitely make sure to, at the very least, check out those settings. And then if you want to kind of get a little bit louder with it, add the filter, make some posts about how you're looking.
Nice. That was the thing, right? So we had a question that came in. Is it okay to put open to work if you're already working?
That one might be a little, I'm not so sure about that one. You don't want your employer to see that and be like, oh, are you thinking of leaving? But again, like in the back end, in your settings, you can put open to work. And I know LinkedIn has um, certain ways that they're able to kind of restrict like recruiters within your own company or people within your own company seeing that you're open to work. So I think updating the setting is good, but maybe don't shout it from the rooftops. But you can still do things like reach out to people on LinkedIn on a one-on-one basis to learn more about their job, to learn more about their company, with the goal of maybe getting a referral down the line.
I think as a recruiter, and just in thinking about that question, I think if
Mhm,
you're showing up on LinkedIn, genuinely showing up and posting and providing content on how you're adding value,
mhm.
I don't think you need, like, you can have it, but as a recruiter, I'm going to tap in anyway because
Yeah,
I want to connect with you. I want to network with you. I'll present
yeah.
my opportunity. If you're interested, great. But if not, maybe some other people that you could refer for the opportunity. So tell me how that works. Like, do you have any tips on how
Mhm.
people can grow their network and expand?
Yeah. So the one thing that I like to say to everyone, because I think a lot of people still don't know about this feature, is that when you send a connection request, always add a personalized message to it. So whether this is recruiters or hiring managers or just like a random person who you want to chat with. So on desktop, you will see when you click connect with someone, you'll indicate how you know the person, and then there will be a prompt to add a note. So always add a note, 1 to 3 sentences, who you are, why you're connecting. I think that goes a long way in having people accept your connection request. On mobile, you're going to see the 3 dots next to the person's name. Click that, personalize invite, then send the connection request. And that one's a little bit, it's very hidden for whatever reason on mobile, but doing that is going to be that first good step to getting that connection accepted. And then once it's accepted, you can send a longer message and have a conversation. But I think initially, like having that brief introduction, who you are, why you're reaching out, what you hope to gain. Are you trying to have a short conversation? Do you really like the content they're posting and you just want to be in touch? You want to learn more from them? Just being specific and kind of making one personalized call out really helps with networking.
So personalize your invites. That serves the requester well. If there's one thing that you would suggest that people that are actively seeking employment should do, what would that be?
A lot of things. I think, okay, so I think when it comes to reaching out, asking to just learn more about the company or a role is a great thing to do. And you don't necessarily want to come in super hot and saying, I'm looking for a job and I want to talk to you. Or sorry, I'm trying to, get like a referral right away. Like if they don't know you, they're probably going to be more hesitant. But I think people are much more open to informational interviews. So just simply a 10-15 minute conversation where you are just asking them questions, learning about their career, learning about their role at the company. People love talking about themselves. So I think people are a lot more receptive to that. And then I would say, when it comes to the content piece, if you see someone at a company or in a role that you're interested in, commenting on their content is a great way for them to, be like, oh, who is that? Like, who keeps commenting regularly? And let me click in. And then next time you send a connection request, they're already going to be familiar with who you are. And I know that happens to me a lot personally when people comment, and it starts some great relationships.
So it's all about engagement. It sounds like engagement is the key, right? And I
Engagement,
think
yeah.
we share with people. All right, sometimes you may not be a person that's going to write content or add content in that way,
Mhm.
but you can share content and you can comment on the
Mhm.
content of others.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love that. I always say commenting is, I mean, comment, comment, comment. Like LinkedIn, again, I talked about the importance of content on LinkedIn, but I think a lot of people still get caught up in vanity metrics, so the likes and the shares, but really commenting is going to be what helps your content, if you do decide to post, rank higher in the algorithm. It's going to open the door to a lot of connections. So say, for example, you comment often on resume building, for example, posts that are about resume building. You're going to start connecting with other like-minded people who are interested in the same topic. And so that's like another very organic way to grow your network and to just learn new things about this topic that's interesting to you. So commenting, I always say is a great thing.
Excellent. So people always ask the question, do they need to have a premium account, and or what are the values of having a premium account? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. So premium does come with some benefits. I don't think it's necessary. So one of the biggest benefits I think is that you have a certain number of messages that you can share, so that you can send out to contacts you're not connected with. But if you do that little hack I mentioned earlier with the personalized message, usually your connection request will get accepted, and then you can send, as long a message as you want after the fact. I think also when you're applying to jobs, your application gets pushed higher up in the pile. But really, I would say like the best way to get a job is through networking and through getting referrals. And so if you see a job at a company you're interested in, try to find the hiring manager, try to find someone who works at the company who you can speak to, who can ideally actually do that referral instead of just cold applying.
Okay, excellent. Are there any? I feel like I'm just throwing questions at you. I'm just like
Some
rapid
comment.
fire, but I have so many questions. So while I have you here, I have the expert on, so I want to speak to her about these questions. Uh, a lot of people are reluctant to join teams. I'm sorry, different to connect with companies. They think it's just about connecting with individuals, but you can connect with groups, you can connect with companies. What's the value behind some of that?
Yeah, groups, it's a similar thing. Like, for example, there's this group I'm part of, Remote Workers Worldwide. And, I'm interested in remote work, hybrid work, and future of work. And that group is wonderful because they have job postings every week for remote jobs. You can meet, again, like-minded individuals or people who are interested in remote work. And so groups can be a really wonderful way, depending if there's like a specific niche, like maybe you're trying to look for a sales job or a marketing job. There are a lot of groups out there that are quite active, where you can meet other people who can ideally help you or support you in some way. Following companies is also really great, especially if there's one that you're very excited about. You'll see all their updates in your feed, and then it's just good to stay up to date so that, if and when you do get that interview, you'll kind of know what the company has been up to and sort of what their values are and just what they're posting about.
Sure. The groups function, I think, is a great way to one, build your profile, right? To build kind of your whole community. But
Mhm.
also they tell me that if someone's actually say a third party connection or a third
Mhm.
tier, that you can leverage the group to connect with that person through the LinkedIn interface. I'm not sure if I explained that correctly, but is that right?
I think what I'm not entirely sure, but I think what you're saying is probably if someone is a third party connection, I think when you send the connection request, it will show you have that group in common. So it's going to just be another thing where the person's like, oh, okay, we're part of the same group. I'll accept this person, whether or not they have a message, I'll just be more open to it. And you have like a connection point already and something to talk about already, which is nice.
Definitely, definitely. So LinkedIn, as it's grown, now I see like there's a lot of course content and
Mhm.
things of that nature. So if you're looking at someone's profile and they have that they're, I guess, leveraging those resources to develop professionally, how do you view that as a third party kind of peeking in on their profile?
Yeah, well, when I was hiring, I loved it. I'm someone who just loves continuous learning. I'm always trying to take more LinkedIn learning courses and just learn from other people on the platform. And so when you take those courses, you're able to add a certificate on your profile after it's done. So I might say that I took a course on communication or how to lead meetings or how to be a better manager. And like when a hiring manager or recruiter goes to your page and they see that, they know one, that you are trying to improve yourself and trying to learn, and two, they can get a sense for kind of the areas that you're passionate about or the areas you might be working on or strong in because you've taken all those courses. And so I mean I personally love seeing all that.
Yeah, it seems like it's great. And anytime you're learning and gaining new skill sets and valuable tools, what can be wrong with that? That's a great
Exactly,
situation, right?
exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. So we had a question where someone had asked, is it okay to just basically put their resume as their LinkedIn profile? Like just to kind
Mm.
of cut and paste and have their resume there. How do you feel about that? And
Yeah.
how far
Mhm.
should people go back in their experience?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so great questions. So for your experience section, I think it's totally fine to just take what's on your resume and put it in the experience section on LinkedIn. And actually, because I like to try to keep my resume to one page, I can't always fit everything on my resume. So I'll put kind of the excess stuff on my LinkedIn and kind of have it as a repository there so I don't forget, all the things I did. So I think that's totally fine. One other thing I would recommend is that you actually upload your resume to your featured section. And that way it's just much easier if recruiters visit your page and they want to download it. And then also, especially if you're looking for jobs, it's just nice to have it in your featured section a little bit more prominently there. In terms of your question, kind of how far back to go, it's funny you asked that because I was just working on this LinkedIn guide and I wrote in it, oh, I finally took off that like random sales associate job from like one summer when I was at some random store in a mall, like selling jeans. And I don't even remember what I did at that at that job. But I think go as far back as the experience is relevant. So I think, internships you did in high school, like maybe not so much, especially if you're a few years, in the workforce now. Uh, but I think I've kept roles probably since like my last year in college because I had one like longer internship and it's like a well-known name, so I kept that there. But everything, past that, all the internships I got rid of. And then on my resume too, like I have only two different companies of experience on there. So yeah, I think you kind of get a feel, what role are you applying for, what company, and you want to show off your seniority and expertise. And so take out whatever kind of feels young to you.
Okay. As just a layperson on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
someone that's there to gain valuable information and insight, but really they're not visiting the platform daily. How do
Mhm.
you feel, or do you feel that they should have recommendations and or references on the platform?
Yes, I think recommendations and references are so important for your credibility. Now, imagine kind of I had two candidates, let's say Ken and Lorraine, and and Ken has tons of recommendations and references from people he's worked with, from people you've worked with, and I have none. But you and I have similar experience. And a recruiter goes, or a hiring manager, goes to our page. And they're going to be more excited about you because they're going to say, oh, Ken is amazing to work with. Wow, I'm really excited to talk to this person. Whereas me, I mean, they might be excited or, interested in my experience, but you're going to have that leg up because of the recommendations and the referrals. And so it's never too late to start. I know some people, don't get into the habit of until doing it later, but I think going back to past managers, maybe you did a project with a cross-functional partner, maybe you did a speaking event or I don't know, like it could be anything really. Like I think just asking people for that feedback, for that positive recommendation. And the thing about recommendations, I'll say kind of an insider tip is to really be specific, asking what you want in the recommendation. So LinkedIn kind of has the generic, oh, Ken, will you write a recommendation for me? But really it should be like, Ken, will you write a recommendation for me about what it was like working together on this project? These 3 skills are ones that I'm trying to highlight. If you can mention how I did in those areas, and it's going to help the person writing the review know what to actually talk about. And then, of course, it's going to help you because it's something relevant to what you're trying to convey to the recruiters or the hiring managers.
I love it. So it's all uniformed and it kind of falls in line, right? So it
Yeah.
leads to where you want to take them. Okay.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn being a social site, right?
Mhm.
But we have other social sites out there, right? Whether it's Instagram or Twitter or TikTok for that matter. Talk to our students. We get this question a lot from our college students. Why is it possibly more important to be on LinkedIn and sharing value and adding value there than on
Yeah.
another platform like TikTok?
Yeah, well, I mean, LinkedIn is my platform of choice for sure. I think it is because it is a professional platform. Like the other platforms can be professional and have professionals on them, but they're also can be more fun and more silly, and they're not necessarily as linked to your professional identity. On LinkedIn, you have your experience, your recommendations, your skills, like everything that's tied to your professional presence. And so that's why I say go on LinkedIn. That's where people are going to hire. That's where people are going to get that first online impression of you. So yeah, when it comes to job seeking, I LinkedIn all the way.
I love it. So as it comes to job seeking, but also, so what I've seen, Lorraine, from some people out here, and I think they're using it well in this way. They're
Mhm.
sharing their work on the platform, whether it be videos and or, like
Mhm.
you said, certifications and things of that nature.
Mhm.
What's the best way to kind of display some of that information and some of those accomplishments? Like
Yeah.
we've had graphic designers, but they're showing their work
Yeah.
on the platform.
Yeah, graphic designers, that's a great audience to do that for. So I think anytime you have something that you've produced, something public facing, like a blog post, or you have a portfolio, or you've made a website for yourself, find ways to incorporate that into your LinkedIn. So I mentioned the featured section before for your resume. You can also upload other things for your website link, for example. You can highlight past LinkedIn posts you've created. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And then within your experience section, within each title and each role you've had, you can also add your work there as well. And so if you've written an ebook, for example, like I have an ebook on mine, I have blog posts or series I've created. I'm just adding whatever I can that I've produced. Even social media channels, if you kind of run the social media channels, that's a great place to link to, or past posts you've written that you've liked. I think anytime you can add that rich media, it's just a little bit more engaging, right, than just reading text. And if someone's curious, you want to give them that next step of what they can click on to continue learning more about you and to continue getting a better feel for your work. So there's lots of places on LinkedIn to do it, and I would just recommend taking advantage of all of them.
Love it. I love it. Well, we're coming down the stretch, but I wanted to ask you this. If you could maybe give just an outline of what you would do or you would suggest if someone's looking for a job opportunity on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
what would be a few steps that you would take to make yourself, well, to put yourself in a better position to either secure the opportunity or at
Sure.
least get on the radar of the company you're seeking?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually just made a post about this the other day. I talked about the 3 things you should focus on first when kind of, improving or optimizing your profile. And especially, I think it's very relevant for job seekers. So, first thing, make sure that your profile picture is a good profile picture, and it does not need to be anything that is professional or like done in a studio or anything like that. You can use your phone, just make sure the lighting is good, the background is not too distracting. Use portrait mode if your phone has it, and that already sets up like a very strong impression. The second thing is your headline. And so a lot of people right now with their headlines, they do job title at company. And there's a lot more. I think we have 220 characters. Like that's not very many out of 220, right? And so the headline is going to be one of the key ways that people find you in search. So if I'm looking for, let's say, a product marketing role, I'm definitely going to want to include the phrase product marketing in my headline. If it's product marketing within a tech company, like use the word tech, like just insert keywords. I mean, of course, have it make sense, but insert keywords, insert phrases. You can look at my LinkedIn if you need ideas, but it just helps you become more discoverable. And then the third thing, again, this is all like right at the top of your profile, is your background photo. A lot of people are still using the generic LinkedIn photo, or they're using like a pre-selected image that LinkedIn gives. Adding more detail in your background photo, either your link, you show your website link or your portfolio link, or you talk about your values, or you highlight some of the achievements that you've done. Like those are all really good things to put in your background photo, and it's like the biggest piece of real estate pretty much on your LinkedIn profile. So take advantage of it and make sure that there's enough content in there and enough information that you want people to learn about you.
Wow, I have so much work to do. I love the background, the banner ad suggestion, just making sure that's unique to you. I think that's a
Yeah.
great strategy right there. Okay, so that's how we get on the radar, at least present well to employers. But how about if we're just there really to network and to add community?
Yeah.
What are your suggestions for people that are really just looking to kind of show up differently and to connect and network?
Yeah, well, I think taking advantage of the search function is a really, really great thing to do. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but within search, once you search for something, you can select a lot of different filters. So you can search for people in your network, you can search for secondary connections, you can have a keyword search that is just for content, for example. So depending on what you're looking for, take a look there in the search section and see what pops up for you. But that'll be a great way to find people who are relevant to the industry you're looking at or the content you want to comment on. So I think that's a really great step to kind of get those connections going. And then looking at perhaps your alumni network, or again, like those groups. I mean, that's just where you find people who are willing to help, people who have common interests, and hopefully they can lead you to some exciting opportunities.
I'm sure. We get people that always say, they seem like, I've had people say that they've reached out to someone and
Mhm.
they didn't accept their invite to connect. And I share with people that, well, people are there to connect, but they're not required to connect with everyone.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Are there connections that you don't accept, or connection or a method where you're like, this is the way you're supposed to show up here and connecting?
Yes. So I wonder if those people were doing the personalized invite, because I feel like that does go a long way. I'm kind of unusual in that I do accept most people as long as it doesn't look spammy. And I do this because a lot of people don't know about adding that personalized message. So I'll accept people, and then afterwards they send me a message saying, "Oh, I wanted to, ask you this question," or like, "Do you want to come on my podcast show, or do you want to like collaborate on this?" And so I'm just always worried I'm missing out on an opportunity by not accepting. But I will say, if the personalized message doesn't work, but hopefully I think it will. Again, like commenting on the person's post, if they are someone who posts, will get your name kind of top of mind there. And then also looking at mutual connections. So if you visit someone's profile, you'll see who you have in common, and hopefully you have someone who you feel comfortable with asking to make that introduction if it is important for you to speak to that person. So that's another thing you can try.
Our conversations have led me to believe and understand that I think I honestly believe that your success on the platform is that you show up as yourself, and I think that's refreshing. You
Oh,
are
thanks.
exactly who you appear to be on LinkedIn, and I commend you for that. So, with that being said, I know we're going to have people that want to know how to stay connected to you and your content and things of that nature. Please let our audience know how they can stay connected to Lorraine Lee.
Yes, of course, would love to. So here are just some of the ways you can get in touch with me. So I do some LinkedIn coaching, and there's a special discount code for anyone who wants to check that out. 15% off to the first 20 people who sign up. I have a weekly newsletter where I share various career tips, LinkedIn tips. It's quick, it's actionable. I definitely want you to walk away with something at the end of each email. So you can subscribe here and then scan this QR code if you want to follow me on LinkedIn. And yeah, please send me a message, connect with me. I definitely want to hear from you if you saw me and Ken here, and I want to hear, how things go for you.
We really appreciate that. And thank you so very much for showing up here today and supporting the National Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series. On behalf of the National Urban League team and the Urban League Jobs Network team, Tori Brown, Dave, everybody back in the back scenes doing what they do to make this possible. It's been one of those days. It's been a great day. Listen, everyone have a great time at the virtual career fair and follow these tips, right? Is that what they should be doing after the career fair, Lorraine?
Yeah, get on your LinkedIn, make some updates, and you'll see the changes.
We love it. We love it. Well, thank you so very much. Look, we'll see you for the next Digital Career Success Series. I'm your host, Kenneth L. Johnson. Thank you so very much for attending today.